everyone. This is the second installment to the WristClocks series. This is the Law of Precision. I'm going to be reading chapter 11 and chapter 12 in this video. Sorry if I cough or anything between it. I am just a little tired. Sorry. Chapter 11, Echoes in False Meadow. He had gone back to the silo. No police tape, no memorial, no open case file as far as he could tell. Just a stain in the dirt, dry by months of silence. A child's journal, weathered and plastic wrapped, wedged into the corner of a structure. Michael had read it 12 times. On his 12th, his thumb rested on a damp, buckled page. "You saw what the world tried to forget," he whispered. The paper didn't answer, but the silence was heavier than words. The boy had written about the mousetrap, the quiet shed, and the clock he drew in the dirt with a trembled finger, about the screaming inside the house, about the silence afterward. One page held a drawing clock with no hands, motion lines sketched around the edges. Beneath it, the boy's uneven scrawl. "It still ticks if you listen close enough." Not because he wanted to remember, but because someone else had to remembered it wrong. The imposter hadn't followed the law. He had followed these pages. Imitation, infection, rot. He had killed a gear before it had teeth. Silenced a child who heard the rhythm of time without knowing the words. Now the imposter carved corrupted versions, misunderstood sketches, time twisted by panic. The child had listened. The imposter had only stolen. He hadn't meant to take the book. He'd gone back after the boy stopped twitching, not to clean up, but to stare. That's when he'd seen the plastic wrap tucked behind a crumbling stone report beam, spiral notebook, the crooked lines of ink bleeding in the corners. Tick tock. Silence counts more than words. He thought it was a sign, so he made his first clock, burned the pages that didn't make sense, carved his second victim a week later. Now in his dreams, a boy's voice begs him to stop. Imposters wear mirrors as masks. They show reflection, not truths. He began with theft, a false metal gear jammed into the works. It must be removed before the rest of the machine begins to rust. Brant flipped through the file on their third male victim. No overlap, no friends, no family, no workplace. Leclerc pulled up the autopsy photos. Same cut depth, same placement, but no notice. No second hands. We did find something else, though. Sliding a clear evidence bag across. Inside, a cheap travel alarm clock. Cracked face, spiderwebbed. The hands were bent as if scorched. tossed in a ditch 2 streets over from the scene. And the ones with the second hands share another detail. The incision angle is consistent. Brant whistled. Someone's getting closer, or they're being taught how. He stared at the boy, and for that, he will soon end sooner than he thinks. I do not allow stolen time to tick. Chapter 12. Rust in the Teeth. The carving was slow tonight. Not flesh, wood, birch, clean, bleached. The hollow would be filled later. The clock face was set to 3:41, the time of fracture, the moment rust began to spread in the gears. He turned the piece over and etched a single name. Ellis Danner. She believed pain could mimic precision. For that she was wrong. Not to honor, but to remember deviation. Now another deviated. The reports he intercepted told him what he needed to know. The impostor had killed again. A woman, young, too young. Her body half burned in dumpster, wrist carved, yes, but the damage ran deeper. Burned flesh, unnecessary trauma, not precision, not the law. This one was never a student, false metal, mimic, mocking the ticking, but unable to hear the rhythm. He pressed his fingers to the carved face. One more adjustment would be required soon. Final, absolute. Somewhere, the timekeeper watched. Michael felt it in the mechanism of his bones. I protect what you gave us, he thought, and I will remove those who rust your design. The clocks in his notebook refused to stay still. Some bled ink, some floated on the page, others cracked open like bone. He found one of the boy's journals months ago. Pages filled with numbers, sketches, wrist drawings, whispers. Not your time, not your law. He tried to copy the tone, the control, but every quill grew messier. Every carving is less faithful. The girl in the dumpster should have been better. He'd shaved the edges, carved by candlelight. Then the fire, the panic, the screaming in his ears. Now the clocks melted and twisted beyond control. In the hotel bathroom, the pipes clinked in uneven beats, like a clock's heart stuttering. Once, in the darkened TV screen, he thought he saw someone standing behind him. When he turned, there was only the doorway. The first 3 victims, LeClaire said, laying down the photos. Wrist carvings, every one of them clean. Then the 4th, pointing to the man found in the train station. Same carving, same wrist, slightly different hand, but still within the pattern. And the 5th, Claire asked. Brent hesitated. A woman, older, found 2 days ago. Also clean work, same placement. Time 1:06. The tightened the message. Whoever this is, they're not experimenting. They're executing a mission. Meaning what? Meaning that the student is learning. The posture deviates further. The burn was unnecessary. The extra wounds serve no purpose. He is not a mimic. He is not a student. Just trembling hands. The child's death was his first mistake. The boy was never meant to be taken. His curiosity was promising. But now the child is gone. The impostor desecrates what he barely understands. But I will not allow this infection to spread. Another is emerging. Across the continent, someone listens. Their gears begin to catch. I do not do this for myself. I do it for the one who showed me the law. I do it for him. Timekeeper watches. He had seen the videos, listened to the theories, but the true clocks were the only thing that made sense. He had her photo, Ella Stanner, the loud one, the failed one, but she had been near it, near him. Now, he would get closer, swinging through each day like a pendulum, steady toward the moment. He wiped the brass cog clean before setting it in place, then folded the paper and slid it into the base of the clock. He was building. He had a clock to build. I will follow the law.